about the hosting. It can be on-prem, cloud, and spoke about comparing some of the Appian with some of the other low-code platforms. We spoke about Appian using MariaDB, the shift from MySQL. Then we spoke about the three layers of Appian: the data layer, application layer, and presentation layer, and also the packages within Appian: Designer, the RPA package, console, process mining, the database layer. We spoke a bit about the Appian objects, what application is, and how it acts as a container where we create the objects. We spoke about the different types of objects as well: data object, process object, user object, group object, group type, etc. So it was just
Great.
an introduction that we did.
That's really great. Okay. Uh, yeah. Do you want me to repeat any of this thing, Raju? If you want, then definitely can give you a recap, and definitely we'll give you a walkthrough towards the content, how the content look likes.
Anyhow, like that will be uh, covered. That will be covered while we are going ahead, right? So I don't think like again that repetition is required. But I have gone through your video till the comparison of the BPM products and like what exactly the Appian is giving more when compared to the other Pega and the IBM BPM servers. So till that
Mhm.
part I went through actually. So I didn't get a chance to go through the remaining stuff actually.
No, I mean, so like first session, I think we didn't record it. Okay, so that what. But yesterday, yeah, definitely yesterday only we go through. First session was a demo, moreover. Okay,
Okay.
on what is the BPM. So, do you have any idea on what is the BPM?
Yeah, I mean, I have a small idea. Like, it's kind of the business process management where we can work with the case management kind of stuff. I actually did not work. Uh, I mean, I was completely into the integration only, but I know the spelling of that BPM. That's it, not the
Okay,
functionality.
okay, understand. Okay, I think that is fine. There is not an issue at all. Okay, so anyone of okay, so who explained what we covered yesterday? Ashwin or Bala? Who was that?
Ashwin.
Ashwin.
Ashwin. Bala, can you just quickly brief on what APN is?
Yeah, yep. Appian is one of the BPM tool we can say. It's used for like BPM tool. It can be used for, I mean, it can be used for all the I mean, we can develop an application in a like a single technology or single with Appian. Basically what I mean to say with I mean, if you say take any other technologies, it may have some front end, for front end one technology, and middle, I mean, for back end another technology, but with Appian we can implement an application. It's
What kind of application is that? A web application or enterprise application?
it's any, I think any application we can implement with, if I'm not wrong, I mean, maybe Rutul can you
Okay. So actually, I'm just creating few content for you guys. So just a second now. Let me quickly present my screen. And yeah, it's a good question, Raju. Just a
Yeah.
second. Okay, I have the things. Perfect. Okay, so just let me know once you're able to see the screen. Okay. Okay, able to see my screen? Bala, Raju, Ashwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So let me quickly give an example. Okay, so let me ask you this. You worked on IBM. Okay, so what was the tool that you worked on, Raju?
Um, it was business process management, IBM
Okay,
BPM.
okay, you worked on IBM BPM tool only, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what are the applications that we can achieve using IBM BPM? I
So
believe no
inside that,
restriction, right?
yeah. So inside that we have a Lombardi the front end BPM management tool plus IBM integration developer, which interacts with the backend systems. Lombardi plus integration designer, you can say. Integration designer.
And what was the DB you guys use?
Oracle.
Oracle.
Yep.
If I would like to use a SQL Server, can I or
We
not?
can. Yeah. 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 We can.
What are the database it supports?
It supports MySQL, Oracle, and DB2, PostgreSQL. Yeah, these are known.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so almost I can say even Appian also support all of this. Other than that, it also support the MariaDB as well.
Okay. Okay.
And same thing. So I believe it's not a by default, right? You guys also need to do the integration with the DB, right? It's a standard
Yeah.
on Oracle. Yeah. So but Appian provide you, okay, if it is comes to Appian, okay, it provide you the by default DB. That is what the MariaDB. And earlier it provided the MySQL, but due to some restriction, DB restriction and performance issue, they they upgraded to the MariaDB, where MariaDB supports 12 different engines, okay, which will make the data process smoother than the MySQL one, okay, and there is additional storage as well on the database server side. So that's why they selected MariaDB almost 2 years ago. This change has been happened. Now coming to Appian, okay, now there is no any restriction, okay. Appian have a significant impact. If you just go to the appian.com, still you can see the partners, okay. So almost, okay, it covers the entire market industries, okay, whether it is a insurance, whether it's a pharma, okay, the like let's say medical insurance, medical companies, okay, or let's say healthcare domain, okay, let's say if you would like to do it for the banking, most it's almost I can say 6 or 7 out of 10 banking industry utilize the APN as a tech,
Okay.
okay, and much more, okay. It is also that have visibility in the manufacturing domain as well, okay. And for an example, let's say you have your own factory, and you would like to have like I would like to have a good database system. I can track my workers process. I can keep my camera and get the details, get the reports out of it. So that kind of system also we can create in the APN as well. So whenever it comes to APN, so I also said yesterday, let me just tell you one more time. The APN will come with it's a package having the designer, okay, where we can call do the coding, okay. So you can say the console, okay. In designer, okay, the Appian designer consists of few different things, like 5 different things, okay, where we have applications, we have objects. Objects is in means like entire app, entire environment. All object exists in the, let's say, environment. application is specific application that we created, or that user created, more precise. Okay, we have a user step where we can see, the active and inactive user. We have a deployment tab where we can perform the deployment. Yeah. So Appian provides the CI/CD. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a second. Excuse me. Okay. So any one of you know what is a CI/CD other than Raju?
Continuous integration and continuous deployment. You can
Is that correct,
build
Raju?
your application.
Is it
Continuous delivery, maybe we can say delivery.
the
See,
development, I guess?
It's a development. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So CI/CD just it's a DevOps concept. It works on DevOps concept. Okay. So what was that? Okay, in the API, if I can say. So let's say I have a different environment. So generally, we do have dev, we have test, we have SIT,
SIT, UAT, prefix.
UAT, exactly. We have pre-prod, okay, and at last we have prod. So earlier, what will happen? I created one application as, let's say, customer management application, okay, CMS. And if I would like to deploy this application from dev environment to test environment, so what is the process that we are following? It was, okay, I need to export.
Yeah.
Okay, first step was I need to take, I think that is also following in the IBM BPM as well.
Yeah.
Export particular application, the tutor. Okay, then I need to log in to test environment. I mean to the environment that I would like to deploy that particular patch, okay, or particular entire application. So whenever we are exporting the entire application, that is known as application deployment. Whether we would like to, our application is already deployed on the higher environment and would like to go with few of the modified object, so that thing is known as a patch. Okay, so we are deploying the patch, and okay, and it is known as a package deployment. We need to create a package, and that patch will be gone to the second environment. So what we did, log into the test environment, okay, then we need to go and click on import. So that time we are importing, that is the file that we downloaded, okay, in .zip file, let's say. Okay, so when you click on import, so the zip file will be uploaded. Okay, then first of all we need to click on inspect. So why inspect is required? We need to make sure that there is no any dependent object that that was left, which cause a deployment issues. So whenever we are doing inspect, okay, we can see is there any dependencies or not. Okay, if it is not, then we can go ahead. Definitely, if there is any dependency, so like for an example, you forget to take some constant or some of the object that was required in your rule, or let's say process model that you already used, it was not there, so it will give the reference and you have to add that back to that application. Okay, so that's why inspect is required, and if there is no any error comes up, that way we can go ahead and import to the test environment. That's how, okay, this is a process required. Now whenever it becomes to the DevOps, so what we are doing right now, we already have all of this require, other than prod, okay, all of this hierarchy created. Okay, so when I logs in, whenever we are working with the client, so whenever we click on the deployment, so we just need to select the CMS application. Okay, then we need to select what is the environment that I want to deploy. Okay, the environment, okay, select that we need to deploy. Don't worry, I'm giving you the practical as well, just we are discussing, so that's why. And you just need to select, and simply you can again do the import thing over here. Same step you need to follow, the inspect, as well as if it is no issues, then you can go ahead and do the import. to that particular environment, and it will be there. Okay, so that's how. So designer consists of application, object, user, deployment, and the important is monitor, where we can monitor our processes if any issues were there. Okay, so we have a designer console that Appian provides, Raju. Then we do have a by default cloud database. Nothing has been required. It is auto like mapped. So that is what the MariaDB is. Then we do have system logs. So generally we do have a system log file. If we are getting any error in process model, and if it is not appearing even either in the monitoring tool or no any error comes up, so that's how that time we can go ahead and we can go to the system logs and we can check the log file. Let's say known as Tomcat stdio file.
Okay.
Later I will definitely showcase to you how it will. And system log is also helpful to track the user activities as well. So let's say few of the developers or like one of the candidate removed object mistakenly, so we can also track that who deleted that object, who modified that object. All of this thing we can get. Okay, it's a totally kundli, you can say.
Okay.
Then we do have Appian. Okay, they recently it was almost 2 years ago, Appian RPA, but it is not yet that much functional. Okay, but in POC and all we started using it. Okay, other than that, no, it also introduces the portals. Okay, but portal have total different licenses and site is required also. And we do have process mining as well. It's also introduced a year back. Okay, so these all things are given by an admin console, okay, where we can handle the admin activities. That's how the Appian provides. Okay, and whenever it comes to Appian, there is no any that what I said, it will apply to any industry, no issues. And for an example, if I can give an example, like a simple thing, if you would like to open account in bank, or if you would like to purchase any jewelry, if you would like to purchase any vehicle, definitely we need to go through the manual process. Or for the loan as well, let's say if I like to take the loan, same thing. For the hospital, same thing. So all of these things are created in Appian using the workflow. We can match different interface, and we can utilize all interface in the process model and a different object as well using the rule and all. Yeah, so let's quickly go ahead today with the architecture thing.
Piyush, just a minute. I have
Yeah.
few questions actually. Yeah. So when you're saying like we can integrate with the other systems, right? Like the SAP or any Apache Kafka.
Okay.
So all the systems we can integrate with this, right? Appian.
So Appian, whenever you're saying integrate with your
Yeah.
desired system, so that time we need to use a HTTP based integration. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
generally integration comes with the connected system and the HTTP. Okay. I'm saying
Mhm.
HTTP because connected system Appian provided by default, and that we can utilize from them. And almost Appian provided around 18 connected system, and we can utilize almost the familiar one. Okay, we can utilize any one of them. And if you would like to integrate with any of your tool, let's say we do have let's say Bizaki, or let's say CRM, we do have CRM Dynamics, we do have, let's say
Yeah.
any like Bizaki. So that time definitely you need to check with let's say KK, or we have some HRM tool, right, the Zoho. Okay, so for that definitely we need the API. We can merge that API over here, and we can test the connection, and furthermore we can utilize in the integration.
Okay. So the input, the protocol is only HTTP, right? To the Appian.
Correct.
Okay, so there is no other system from where we can get the data like the DB or any other SAP system like the from the IDOC format and all. It should be HTTP only, the request.
I'm not getting you. Can you just give bit more elaboration on this?
Yeah, I mean, so we have one UI. Okay, so
Okay.
for that, actually, we are getting a request from a HTTP via HTTP. So that we can use something like the Postman to hit that request. So
Okay.
okay, so that kind of thing, is there any way that I can receive the input via an MQ message or from the SAP system, something like that?
Yeah, we can. So like that known as a API. We do have a object known as web API where we can consume. Okay, like in integration, if I talk about, yeah, if I talk about integration, that point we already left yesterday as well. Okay, anyhow, I'm going to talk. So whenever it's integration, so whenever if I would like to consume any data from the outer system, right? So that time we can use the integration. Let's say you are talking about the SAP system, right? So if I would like to pass something, okay, and based on that, I would like to get a result, get data in
Yeah,
Appian. So that time I can use the SAP system. Okay, that
it's a
time
kind
I
of
can
connected, right?
yeah, I can connect the SAP system and utilize an integration. And whenever I'm doing that call, I will get the data in the Appian. And the same thing for an example, uh, let's say I have some data, okay, and I would like to expose that data to the SAP system. So for exposing outside world, exposing outside world, okay, we can use the web API. I mean, that is the simple thing, okay. So
Got it, Piyush. It's
understand,
clear
right?
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me, quickly, what's that? Okay, we missed this. Okay, yesterday. So integration is what? Whenever we would like to consume a data out from outer world to Appian, that's why we can use the integration. Whenever we would like to expose our data to the outer world, that time we can use a web API. If you go with the wordings, so what the wording says, it can be used to call external system and web service from APL. Integration can be called in expression, interfaces, process model to query or modify data in external system, and they can inherit connection details and logo images from the connected system as well. Okay, so long to short, as of now, I can say for your understanding, if you want to consume any data from outside world to Appian, use the integration. And
Okay.
integration you can use either HTTP or REST API or the connected system that is provided by default in the Appian. And if you want to create yours, so that you can also create a connected system using the HTTP. So like for an example, if I would like to, I have by default MariaDB, but I don't want to use that. I want to use, MariaDB that I have in Azure. So that time I can create a MariaDB in Azure connection, and simultaneously I need to give the URL, username and password. That's all it's required. Okay, and
Okay.
if it is SSL, so we can make the URL itself as SSL true, and we can connect and we can utilize that particular database as our additional database to the by default. Okay, that's how we can create a connected. And web API having different ways to create. Okay, so for an example, uh, okay, so what I want to, let's consider the CRM dynamics. Okay, let's consider the CRM dynamics. So web API I can create with the different multiple ways. Okay, what are the ways? So there are around 6 to 8 different ways. So the first way is using the start process. Okay, so I can configure the start process, like basically I can configure the process model and expose that process model as a web API, and I can give the endpoint to the CRM system. Okay, I can give the endpoint to the CRM system. So CRM system needs to integrate that endpoint to the CRM tool, and whenever they hit submit or get the data, okay, so that time they can start a process in Appian from the CRM tool. They no need to log in. Yeah, they no need to log in even to the Appian as well. So these are, by process model, they can start API. they can also, like using the write to data store entity, they can, write the data.
Sorry, can you repeat that once again?
Okay, so what I'm saying, web API can be created, okay, multiple ways. One of the way is we can create a process model, okay, and we can publish this process model as a start process way of creating web API. And furthermore, we can expose that web API endpoint to the CRM tool, okay. And then CRM person, okay, CRM tool, they need to integrate, and whenever they hit, okay, the next or get or submit, so that time they can start a process in Appian without logging to Appian as well. They can access our screens as well. So that's how we are exposing our data to outer side world using the web API. Are you able to get this? Definitely, whenever we are, saying,
Yeah,
what can I say, the practically, you will get more idea what are the different ways it is and how can we utilize it. We can also
sure.
do the write to database. We can also, upload document. Okay, there are multiple ways to create a web API. But only thing is that upload document also, whenever you are exposing the upload document as a web API, again, CRM team, if they want to upload some document in API, so they can do that. Okay, so that is what the web API is. And if I go to the connector system, so connected system that I already said, but yeah. So as you know, if I would like to connect any external system, okay, from the API, let's say SAP, CRM, let's say Google API, okay, or let's say if I would like to, connect with the Chat GPT, okay, we can do that. Anything, any connected system, just you can say, okay. We have the RP as well. We have a UI path there as well. Other than that, okay, like we do a Salesforce too, okay. So there's a way we can create a connector system, but for that, okay, as a client required, they would like to get a data from the Salesforce. So we must need to have a URL and the authentication method. Connector system comes with the different authentication methods. Okay, which I will cover later, but let me just giving you the heads up. Okay, we have a basic which has a just username and password. Then we do a API key based, okay, where we just need to give the API key over there. We'll let you know how we are creating it. And we do have a OAuth 2.0, okay. And in OAuth 2.0 also, I forget to the three different things. We do have a client credential. We do have authorization code grant, okay, as well as SAML assertion, okay. And two, three more authentication method we do have. Okay, so based on this, what are the things that client required? Based on this, we can select the authentication method, and we can, create a connector system. Okay, so is the like objects are clear? Any doubt on this connector system API or integration?
It's clear for me, Piyush. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so can we move to the architecture? Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
perfect. Okay, so let me quickly, just a second. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I try to do the things as soon as uh, let me quickly giving heads up from this. It is more easy. Okay, able to see the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me open this. Okay. So as I said, Appian architecture is divided into three different layers. Okay, now we'll see what are the different layers we do have. Okay, Appian architecture. The first layer you can see is the data layer. Can Appian follow which concept? Even so, okay, I think so we can build once and run it anywhere. Okay, so for you, let me tell you, Raju. Okay, or I'm not sure some other who joined today only. So Appian hosted, okay, on two different way. So they hosted on on-premise, okay, and the cloud version. And on cloud, they do have by default that's antivirus protection. Also, it comes with the entire package where on-premise we don't have by default database. Cloud has the by default database, but on-premise we don't have the by default database. We need to have an additional data source or database for that. And for on-premise, definitely, we need to connect to the VDI. Okay, for an example, if you're working for, let's say, HSBC or let's say Barclays, so we need to have a VDI based on that Cisco VDI. We need to connect to the Barclays network again, and we can use only their defined database if it is a on-premise. And on-premise network is always run a 1 year, okay, older, okay, than the original one. So like for an example, okay, we are going to have a 23.1 and we have a webinar on 22nd of Feb, okay, in next I can say 6 days. So for this on-premise right now, still they are using 21.4 version. Okay, and if they would like to have, they need to install the hotfix for the new every latest environment. But on cloud, we have the like company already have the bond with the APN directly, and we'll get the whenever as soon as new product comes, okay, launch, we are getting that new release in our environment by default. Okay, and APN also provided the community like hands-on access. They started providing a year ago. Okay, earlier we don't have, but we can now go ahead and have the hands-on environment that is brought by APN as well. So it's very simple. So now coming to this data architecture part, we do a data layer. Here we do have an application layer, and the third and last is presentation layer. So what are the things that we have? Let me discuss starting with the presentation. Okay, actually I did the write-ups over here, which is easy to understand. Okay, so okay, the data layer, what the data layer? The data layer consists of the Appian engines. We do have a different data types, data stores, what are the different rule groups and all. It will come to the Appian engines, and we do have Appian generally support okay, let me write it here. Yeah. So Appian supports data layer. If you go through the Appian engines, definitely I'm going to give you the the hands-on exercise as well. Starting next session on the Appian thing, what are the things are there. So we do have a process engines. Okay, we do have process analytical engine. In process, we do a process analytical engine. We have process execution engine. Anyone just anyone understand what is a process analytical engine? Anyone?
Is it performance and reporting?
Correct. It's a performance, that is correct. So basically, we can give an example. So for an example, okay. So we created one process model. Okay. So that is first thing that you were saying. That's correct. So it will definitely give you the better performance. If we have a more analytical engine, we do have a better performance. Okay. Other than that, okay, if any like issues comes, okay, whenever the process, okay, in analysis phase in terms of in process also have the design view and like analytic view as well. So there we can quickly go ahead and generate documentation as well. Okay, so that time, so altogether for analytical engine, the main part of the analytical engine is that the performance is better, okay, to make our process run smoothly. Same thing now, process execution engine is that there are different ways that we can trigger a process, and whenever we click on the start process, okay, or let's say from the debugging or from the email for any other way or from the web API or start process or sub process node, we must need to make sure that the execution time, okay, so like let's say I started at 7:44, okay, so we must need to understand, okay, how many seconds it will take to run, okay, and what is the like completion time, okay, and how faster it ran, okay, because it also has the data engine, and data engine, whenever we do have any write to data or entity, any data interaction we do have, okay, so it will be really helpful for that. Okay, so there are total, and we can by default it has heat engine, and it can extend it up to 64. Okay, so this much things we do have, this much it been provide whenever it comes to the engine. And for metadata, definitely we do have the data engine to store all the metadata thing. So total I can say analytical engine, execution engine, okay, and like some 9 other engines. So total we have 15 different engines that we have in Appian. 9 other to support the load. So total, if anyone asks how many engines that Appian supports, so there are 15 engines that Appian have, which includes 3 process execution, 3 process analytic engine, and we do have 3 data engines, and rest 6 are like additional engines or other engines, we can say, to balance the load. It will definitely, whenever I give you the exercise, so that time, though it's not 9, it's a 6. Okay, so whenever I give you exam exercise, so that time you can see that video and see how it will really work. Okay, it comes to database, as I said, we have a connectivity to the SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, MariaDB, Postgre, DB2. Yeah, these are the main database that Appian does support. And if I would like to have new data source, so we can also have this. It comes to the data server. Okay, as we discussed on the deployment part. Okay, then that time, whenever we are deploying our application patch using the package, So until and unless that package is getting deployed, till that time, that particular package will, store on the data server. As well as if we create a record and if we create some custom filter, so those filter are also been there on the data server. Same thing, we do have the search server. Okay, so whenever I'm explaining you the designer, so that time you can see how fast searching capacity Appian provide, whether it in terms of the designer, whether in terms of the processes, whether in terms of the object search. And even we do have a picker field as well, and we can also do the impact analysis. Okay, if any risk or a risk found, Appian will give us a notification. Okay, there is some issue with this interface or this rule. Okay, and easy data source as well. And file system is something but like as I said, folders, documents, where we can contain all of this thing whenever the process getting archived and the log file. As I can say, antivirus will be there always for the cloud version. Yeah. Is that clear on the data part? Let me quickly showcase to here as well. Okay. So Appian engines, it is a CDT which is mainly using for the DB table and write as custom data type, which as I said, Appian refers to table and database, and there are separate query rule. And whenever we store all the data users activity on the engine, and we can store the documents on the engine as well. In database, there are different databases that Appian supports, and if we want a few more, we can using the data sources, we can give that using the connected service, connected system, we can create the new data source as well. Later I will show how can we create. Okay, now coming to here, I already said data server. So whenever we deploy one to application to our environment, then we have to include that particular patch to deploy, and it will be stored on data store server till the deployment completes successfully. Okay, and the various filter that we applied while the creating a record. That's what the data server is. Coming back to the search server, I can say it will help to find any data while working with record, report, or any picker component. And using that search server, we can easily search within the process flow. So like whenever we are into the process model, okay, in earlier we don't have that much searching capacity. Okay, but now if I would like to add any node, I don't need to search from the left pen. I can directly click on right click and just give the name. I would like to have a script task, I would like to have feed, anything, we can do that. And coming to file system, document, and folder, it will be there. Coming to the application layer, let me quickly show you. So application layer look like this. The services, okay, here you can see the different web servers, the Apache. Okay, here we do have the Java for the business logic, all the plugins that we have in the Appian, basically that has been developed or designed in the Java. So we are just using the JP annotation, we are using the Java Position APIs, we are using the .jar file whenever I would like to include some functionality. In that plugin, we have to deploy to our environment. So that's why Java is a base of Appian as well. And here you can see self-managed is nothing but the on-premise, whether cloud is nothing but it requires the certification and what are the things that it is offering. And as I said, we have a web APIs, web services, different plugins, and definitely App Market will showcase you how it looks like in definitely tomorrow's session. And we do a mail server. So generally, whenever we would like to send a notification to the user, it will utilize POP, IMAP, or SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. And these are the different connected systems: CMA, CRP, RPA, CRM, and AI. Okay, let's see the wordings, what I written. So straightforward. When we want to consume any data from outside world to Appian, we have to use integration. And there are two ways, as I said, connected system and HTTP REST service. So what is a HTTP REST? So to build a HTTP REST service to consume data from third party system, we require REST URL from the third party. Okay, and then we can create an integration using that method. That what your question was. How can we create if you would like to you don't have that connected system, so how can we connect? So definitely we need to get the URL and credentials from the third party, and we can create an integration. And same thing, connected system, we do have by default connected system that is provided by Appian. And if I would like to use that, we need to again have the credential to connect, and we can get the data from that. The difference between these two is that whenever we are using the connected system, where is that? Yeah, whenever we are using the connected system, we need to select the by default servicing it provided. Okay, so for an example, I selected the SAP. Okay, so I just need to say what are the operations, okay, that particular SAP by default. Let's say if I would like to get data or get document, or you would like to get or the post, we can post and using the get. Okay, so using the SAP, we need the operations are restricted. Using that connector system, there are, let's say, 6 to 7 operation are that. If I would like to add more, I cannot. I don't have that visibility. But if we are using the HTTP REST, we can do n number of manipulation that we can. But connected system is definitely known as more secure than HTTP REST service, because it is already connected with particular system, let's say RP or UiPath, and particular that UiPath URL gives us a link, so that end-to-end connection security will be be there. So that's why, okay, connector system any day is better than the HTTP. But HTTP we can do the more manipulation whenever we are using the basic authentication. And we have also different methods. Okay, like almost we have 4 main method that everybody knows. Those are get, post, put, delete. Okay, other than that also we do have 4 other methods. Okay, if you like to modify any external content to that. And coming to web API, as I said, if you would like to expose any data from API to outside world, we can go ahead with the web API. Yeah, here I also give an example. We can ask third-party user to write or delete data from database, or to query a database and uploading a document to Appian as well. Okay, let's coming again back to this. So this is what the application layer consists of. Okay, let me return it over here. Integration, connected system, as well as the any doubt in application layer, guys? You must need to if someone asks you tomorrow, you must need to answer what are the different layers and what are the things at least comes in inside it. Anyone, any doubt?
No.
Am I audible, right, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last one is nothing but the presentation layer, and presentation layer is nothing but how we are presenting our front end to the outside world. This is what the magic will comes up. Okay, these are the backend thing. Okay, this is the middleware thing, and this is the front end thing. Now here you can see the the site and tempo. Presentation layer consists of, earlier we do have a tempo. Okay, we will let you know what is the tempo, what are the different tabs we do have. Yeah, earlier we do a tempo. Then almost I can say in 2018 they introduced a site to us. Okay, earlier they have visibility but not that much extensive. So tempo, what is tempo? So the tempo is by default front end interface provided by, let's say, Appian, where the site is customizable user experience. where we can do the manipulation. We can do modification with respect to UI. Okay, we do an embedded interface, so like we do a by default integration with the Outlook. So if anything, whenever the mail triggers, it will generally by defaultly comes to the Outlook or SharePoint, let's say. Okay, these are the different supported technology we do have. In Designer, I already said there are different things. So in Designer, if we go to the Designer, Appian Designer, there we can see 5 different things. That's what I already said. But whenever you will into the applications, okay, so in that, okay, there are multiple objects. There are around 18 different objects that we can create, which consist of process model, process report. We have a constant, we have a interfaces, we have a rule, expression rule. Here we can create a query rule. We have records and reports. Okay, there are multiple objects. The integration was there. Then we have a connected system. We have web APIs. So there are multiple objects, and application is nothing but the wrapper, and below all are the chocolates. So you can say the container of all objects. Okay. Also, the importantly, we do have a group we can utilize to secure. We have a group type as well. Okay, and to interact with the data, we have a CDT, like let me known as data type, and to publish the data type, we do have data store. So definitely we'll go through each and every one in upcoming forthcoming sessions. And the admin console, okay, so admin console have lot more administrative activity, handles the administrative activities. And generally, whenever we are working on a client project, we are not getting access to admin console, because what are the changes that we are doing on admin console, it will reflect to the entire environment. Okay, so definitely, like tomorrow whenever we are starting, let's say Monday, okay, so that time we'll go with the what is the Appian site. Okay, how can you access your own hands-on environment? Okay, hands-on, I think I don't need to give you right now. Okay, that thing once the admin console things are done. Okay, how the Appian side is that, what is the app market? Okay, that what we can see over here, app market. Okay, what is a community? Okay, that we can go. And later we'll start with the admin console thing. Admin console definitely take around I can say 2 days of time. Okay, almost 2 hours of time. So you will get into the admin console, and post that will give you the log into the community site. Okay, where we'll start with the function at first, and after function we'll create how to create an expression rule, okay, using the function, and then we'll give you the assessment. This is what the plan of the next week. That's how we can go. Okay, now let me quickly showcase to you. Yeah, till then, any doubt before we move to the tempo? Anyone, please try to speak up.
No, Piyush.
Yeah, so we'll go through each and everything in detail as in practical. Okay, so why I'm giving you the theoretical experience right now, because at least you can understand what the Appian is. If I give you directly from the day one as on practical, so I think you cannot digest it. Okay, because it's a new. Okay, so I'd like to let you guys know what is the overall Appian thing that we are going to provide. What is how the forthcoming things are. Okay, so yeah, Bala, Ravindra, Deepak, Ashwin, or let's say Musala. Any doubt, anything till now so far?
No.
Perfect. If you have any question, just interrupt me. We can quickly go through it. Now, what is the tempo
Uh,
interface? Yeah, please.
Piyush, Deepak here. Like as far as like I have joined today for the first time. Okay,
Oh, I see.
and thanks. Things are going pretty well. I'm able to catch up the way you are explaining in detail. But just
Okay.
one question, like as you mentioned, right? There are in the back end there are multiple engines which are like handling the end-to-end architecture of Appian. Around
Mm-hmm.
15 engines, which include
Mm-hmm.
data analytics and everything.
Correct. Correct.
Wanted to understand, like, is it like mandatory that all these engines should be up and running and functioning, or there might be some optional engines as well, which we can
Oh,
also exclude in terms of the usability or the
uh,
requirements?
okay. Let me hold on. For that, I need to showcase to you something. Okay, hold on. Let me quickly open that environment. I just stop screen share. Okay, just a second. We'll open that and we'll share it again. Just a second. So we will get better idea how it is. Okay. So where are we? Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen one more time. Okay. So Deepak, can you able to see your screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Sorry.
Or
yes,
It is visible. It's visible to you, right, Deepak?
yes, it's
Perfect.
visible.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Fine. So here you can see whenever we are in any of the environments, whenever your site. So here you can see what is the database it is using. First thing, as you are saying, we have 15 engines. So what are the engines? Okay, it is up and running. So here you can see execution. Oh, execution engines are three that is currently utilizing. Okay, and it is hosting on, you can say, Appian Cloud and server configuration single. Yeah. So whenever we have the RPA also, you can see the
Hmm.
version, Appian version, there is a 22.4. Okay. So right now, three execution engine are adapting. Okay. Whenever, so generally we have an analytical engine. Whenever we have, like, if I would like to have the, check the health check report and, do the performance testing, that time it will also utilize. So whenever, just like, if I can, correlate with the database type. Okay, it is just like char and varchar. Char is what? If you are giving, spaces, still it will count. But if you are giving 15 to varchar, so if you only require three, so it will only take three. If the fourth one is required, then only it will take fourth one, right? So likewise, it does like the thing.
Okay, so it's we can think in that way that number of engines, right? Mostly execution data engines
Mm-hmm.
are three, so it's like clustered for the three, which will be in active passive mode based on the requirement, right?
Correct.
Those additional
Correct.
engines will start performing
Correct.
to manage the
And
load.
we have
Okay.
six engines. That I said six engine, as in other engines, where if we have a low, I mean more load on the system, so that time it will act by default.
Okay, and that will be handled by the core, right? No
Yeah,
need to
by the
explicitly configure
administrator.
that.
Okay, the system, yeah, or the architect. What can I say? Infrastructure admin.
Sure,
Yeah,
Piyush. Thank you. Yeah.
got it.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
We'll let you know it. I know because I just did a screenshot, but let you know whenever, like in coming week basically. Yeah, where you can exactly see this. So don't worry about it. Okay, good question by the way. So here the tempo, here you can see it allow, as I said, it's a by default interface, will not go. Okay, I think we'll try to cover it because it's a quick topic, and later starting Monday we can get into the the console. Yeah. So the tempo interface will allow us to work easily on any supported device, any user with the basic privilege. So okay, in APN also there are two different user types. The one is basic user and the other one is system administrator. there is no any restriction can anyone keep or put on the system administrator. Is a super admin. But for basic user, if we are not giving any privileges, okay, so by default, he can go ahead and use the tempo interface. And that basic user with different things, so like basic user with the designer access, basic user with the process model creator, with the quick app creator, with the database, like that is what we have a role whenever we are working in a client project, a basic user with all of this thing, who cannot access the admin console, who cannot delete any CDT or any object. So that's what, that's why, they keep the basic user with all the development access. Okay, so here you can see basic privileges can access the tempo user. Appian for mobile device application allow Appian user to view in tempo using the mobile device. Same thing with the iPhone, iPad, yeah, iOS and Android both. Yeah, and Windows definitely it is working. User can collaborate with 6 different things. Okay, 5 different things, not six. One is just the user profile. So we do have a news. Okay, task, record, report, and action. So if I can tell you, what does it do? So news is nothing but for an example, yeah. So let's say task has been assigned to yeah, Bala assigned some task to Raju. Okay, then it will be comes as a feed, and it will create a feed, and you can see in the task tab as well as it has been assigned using the feed on the news tab as well. Okay, so there are 4 different ways. Okay, on the news view, if you can see. Okay, I just trying to portray the best possible way. So news can be, we can create a post within 3 different ways. We'll definitely let you know what are those 3 different ways. Normal message, we can create a task, we can send a mail as well using the attachment. Here you can see the attachment. Yeah, to assign someone like hey buddy, this thing is pending, just do it as soon as possible. Okay, and we can mark something as star, that is what we are doing the flag or important. We can do the star and we can skip all of this thing, and we can only see the star thing. Those are important to us. The news that we are participating, that is filter. So these are the filters basically. Okay, all is by default. Is there any updates on your ongoing thing? The post or feed that you already participating, and the star one. Okay, we'll showcase you how it will be now, how we can do the post using the mail, task, and 3 different ways. Coming to the task. Okay, the task is nothing but it is generated from the process model, and it is coming to us. And this is the important question. It is generally asked some in the like certification exam. Which of these is not a deadline for a task? So they will give you the option as overdue, today, within 3 days, within 7 days. So you have to identify that within 3 days we don't have any deadline for the task. Okay, make sure you understand this. Okay, let me note it down over here because it's something important question. Task. Okay, so we have okay, so this one is a wrong answer. Make sure, so it generally asks in the level 1 kind of initial certification. So here you can see we can filter out by if there is some task is sent by you, if you did any star task, what is your current task that is assigned to you, and the assigned to me task, and the status we have open as well as the cancelled. Record, okay, is nothing but what are the records that we created in the record object that is displayed over here, and these are the related action. And the related action is nothing but the process itself. Okay. Same thing for report as well. Whenever we're creating any report object as a task report, so it will be appear over here, whether it is a pie chart or how we are forming the report basically. And we must need to make sure that it doesn't have any rule input. We'll let you know what is the rule input and all other things. And the last thing is that the actions. So actions, yeah, actions are nothing but the way to trigger a process. You can say create new customer, so definitely it is not coming here by default. Okay, if you have the customer applications, then you need to configure the application actions. Then you need to give this action, you need to map a process model, then it will be appear on the action tab, and furthermore you have to click on it and the process will be start. Okay, so is that clear? Any doubt on this part, in the tempo part? Any question, anything, guys?
No, no question.
Yeah, it's just giving you a heads up. Okay, so this is what the Appian. Okay, Appian itself a product, I believe all of you know. Okay, so it is it is founded in 1998. Okay, and started in California, and they hit Indian market by 2006, 4 to 6 between. Yeah, and Appian, whenever you are seeing the opportunity in Appian, so there are unlimited opportunity every day. If you are a LinkedIn user, every day if you just search the Appian, every day you will get the opportunity. Okay, hey, we need Appian developers. Okay, so the resource requirement is like every company wants a resource in Appian. Okay, if they want 6 7, no 6 7, whenever they want Appian resources are less in the market, if I can say that. Okay, whenever we started that time, only 500 resources all over the world. Right now it is rapidly increased, and almost we do have more than 70,000 overall world. And if you can see the Appian site, and yeah, Appian also releases feature. Okay, and having the Appian world activities every year, and the release will be happen 4 times in a year. Okay, so right now it is going to present on 22nd of the February. It is going to launch as 23.1. Okay, here you can see customer's choice for 2022. Okay, for such survey we can see Q4 it will get the digital process automation. Yeah, if you can just see the Gartner report, like Appian was there, for Appian was there in the market in 1918 and 19. The Appian was leader in the Gartner quadrants. So definitely, okay, and here you can see we don't have anything like that. Okay, earlier it is a record basically, nothing. And they also improved the AI vision as well. Okay, the data fabrication and all of this include. Here you can see the process automation, how it looks. Yeah, this is what the process model at glance. You can see the email services. We have a UI form. Okay, there is a robotic process. They say the DocuSign integration, and these are the how the process model look like. Okay, how this is what the interface look like. We can create any kind of form. We can beautify it. We can do the milestone. Lot more features we do have. And they also introduce a process mining thing. So here you can see how it will be do the analytic on the problem. So if you ask me the market, so there is no any end. And 12 years, 15 years, 8 years, 2 years, anytime, age is definitely it is not really a factor. But yeah, you can get into the Appian at any moment. As I know, you started just two months ago on this like you just cross skill, right? And then you just started the different thing. But
Yeah.
it is a good choice. If your company does have, so definitely you can go ahead and learn Appian and get the project on that.